Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States
of
America, and to the republic for which it stands,
one nation,
under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
No.
Thank you.
It's wrong button.
Let's see, we have
He's sitting.
Ivy, would you sit for Wade, please?
Yes.
And I think you're the only alternate that we have, so
Julie.
we'll
Oh,
proceed.
no, Julie's here.
Julie for Michael.
Okay. How come, why don't I see Julie? Oh, okay, I'm sorry. Okay, Julie will sit for Michael, thank you. Item number 2 on the agenda, approval of the 28 January meeting minutes. Is there a motion?
I move to approve the minutes.
And a second, please.
Second.
That, Geneva.
Thank you. Any discussion? Any abstained? Oh, I'm sorry. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. Thank you. Item number 3, application review. Maureen, anything there?
We have no applications currently under review.
Okay, thank you. Item number 4, new application 21 C21-1, 55 and 65 Rope Ferry Road, invasive species management, wetland restoration plan. Brian Flaherty, applicant, Town of Waterford owner. Questions or comments?
Staff can give you a quick overview. This is something we've been working on together, our department and the Recreation and Parks Department. Do you want to bring it up, Katrina? That's what I'm doing right now. Give Katrina a minute to share it. This is part of the improvements for the green, the historic green around Evans Cottage. The guys have been working to get rid of the vines and the invasives. The fence needed repair. So they've asked to put together a full management plan for that wetland. And we worked together. You can see that there. It's not an as of right because it's not a homeowner. It's not a residential property. So what we're trying to do is get we had the wetland flagged by Mr. Snarsky this summer. Yeah, there it is there. So that area in there, and then when you drive by it, you see the fence needs repairing. They've been trying to get rid of some of the briars, and what we've been working on the left side, the west side of the wetland, is to put a demonstration buffer planting area, maybe with some benches and some interpretive signage. It's part of our pollinator garden, bringing it over from the library. And on the east side where the fence is, Kay can show you that, that's being repaired. Behind that, the past, right in here, it's like debris and leaf piles that we're trying to clean up. And I thought it best for the Rec and Park Department just to get an overall management plan approved by the commission so they can get in there when the conditions are right. We can identify the invasives and get them out of there and work on putting buffers back.
Questions or comments?
Julie here. So that walkway that I've heard, I guess it was originally just caused by foot traffic cutting across the corner there. Is there any, you can see it.
Yeah, it's just grass.
Okay, so although it's a kind of a beaten path through there, is there any plan to make that more of a bridge or a controlled access or whatever?
This, we're sharing the screen, sorry. So right in here is the culvert under here. There's a culvert, existing culvert. So the fellas mow this already. There's a fence through here. So there's really no need for any kind of elevation. He flagged it as wet soil, but it's an existing footpath. At this time, there isn't anything in the proposal.
Right. It looks like they were clearing a lot of the invasives around, kind of widening, opening up that area there. So
trying to get rid of the vines. Yeah. And that's what elicited having a larger, more comprehensive plan.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah,
thank you.
It is overwhelming with vines and bittersweet and bullbriars, but it needs to be cleaned up.
Yeah. And they're working with hand tools, but I felt more comfortable had this commission reviewing it and authorizing it with a permit.
Yeah, good. Right. It needs to be done. Yes.
Yeah, and it's been a problem for years, actually. So this is good.
Yes.
Dave Lurch here. I only see what we're doing here as certainly an improvement to a piece of town property, and I don't see any other special conditions that I think I would require other than ones that we have given for other homeowners who might be clearing invasives, out of their backyards from around wetland areas. Maureen, did you see anything else than what we normally require, as far as hand tools and of course minimal disruption to the wetlands?
No, it's fairly saturated in there, so they won't be needing to bring equipment in there. There's a couple of dead trees they've dragged out already. It's really just a long-term enhancement plan. I really want to get the butterfly garden, the pollinator garden in the spring on the west side with them, but I don't want to put that in if it's just going to be overtaken with bittersweet and we have a lot of there's some poison ivy in there that really needs to be taken out too. And that's something they have to do over time. As you identify when it comes up, this is a good time to get rid of vines and the dead snags because there's minimal disturbance. But when we go in there and start trying to, once they die and we want to yank them down out of the trees, they'll probably be working for them around the edges with the equipment we have. They're certainly not going to be scaling any trees and doing any, Tarzan work in there.
Yeah. So do you think that if I maybe follow up with another question or comment? So as far as going to draft on a permit for doing this, you don't see any other conditions other than ones we would normally require?
No, and again, this has been a cooperative effort. So the primary condition I put in that that the activities continue to be coordinated with the commission's agent.
Sounds good for me. Okay, thank you. I don't have any more questions.
Any other comments? I think it's good. Maureen, are we in a position here where we might be able to go to a draft?
Staff is all ready to produce one if you so desire.
We're in a position to approve this and go from there?
Well, no, we need to go. There is a 14-day public comment period, so I would recommend the commission have me draft up a formal approval for their decision next meeting.
Okay, someone want to make that motion?
I'll move that staff prepare a draft for the next meeting concerning this project.
Charlie, is there a second?
I second that.
Julie.
Jessica, second. Any further discussion, Julie? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Item number 5, item number 5, violations. Maureen, anything?
Yeah, I had to issue a notice of violation. You see it up on your screen. We have 2 members of the Rope Ferry Condominium Association that we've allowed into the meeting. Okay, can you go and see if there's another person in the waiting room that we don't recognize and did not ask permission to enter this meeting. So I would ask Cheryl if you're on, or
I believe it's might be Kathy Schneider, our president.
oh, okay. So we'll let her
Right.
in. We'll
Kathy
let her
Schneider.
in. Okay.
Yep. Thank you.
We're cautious to let in
No, it's okay.
after last meeting. Can you get her in?
Yeah. I just have to,
Okay. Give us a second.
Yeah. There we go.
Our apologies, Kathy. We didn't know who you are. Are you in? She should be in. Okay. All right. All right. So the notice of violation was issued for work. The members of the association wanted to explain it to the commission, but let me just take you through the violation that was issued. They used to.
Maureen, if I could, just a procedural question. Could we ask those guests to identify themselves, please, for the record?
Sure. You're in charge.
Yes, my name is Jack Cunningham, and I am a board member here at Rope Ferry, and I also live here. And I am also the co-chair of the landscaping committee here at Rope Ferry.
Thank you, Mr. Cunningham.
Hi, I'm Cheryl Serpensky. I'm Jack's wife, and I am the treasurer. I'm on the board of directors, and I'm the treasurer of Rope Ferry Commons Association.
Thank you, Mr. Serpensky. And Ms. Snyder.
Hi, I'm Kathy Snyder. I'm the president of Rope Ferry Commons. I'm just here to try and help.
Thank you. Maureen, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, so the February 5th notice of violation was issued. I have since spoken with Mr. Cunningham and had email correspondence with Mr. Serpensky as well. And they're here in accordance with the required actions of the commission of the notice of violation to present to you what they were trying to do and where they're going from here. So take it away, Jack, if you would.
Yeah, first of all, thank you so much for your time tonight and letting us speak. I want to start, I've already done this with Maureen. I want to apologize profusely to everyone. There was a misunderstanding that took place. And I just want to bring you back a little bit in time and explain sort of how this all started and happened. So we have, I represent 166 units here at Rope Ferry condominiums, probably about 300 and something taxpayers and voters, et cetera, and citizens of Waterford. And we have a problem. And the problem is this stream / wetlands is turning into a swamp. And the swamp is coming, as it's turning, it's coming with all the characteristics of a swamp. People cannot use their outside decks and their patios because of mosquitoes and flies. It smells awful. And so, obviously we were getting a lot of complaints. Maureen was generous enough, and I want to say Maureen has been extremely helpful, as the commission has. I want to make sure I get that out there to everybody. In the hydro raking project we just did, she came out on the 29th to look at another thing that was going on. And at that point in time, we discussed the stream, and Maureen said, well, we could probably widen it, but we could not excavate. And there seemed to be a distinction that I didn't get. And, luckily in life, we get to learn some life lessons. And the lesson I learned was to always check with Maureen if we're going to do anything with the water. So that, just so the board knows, that lesson has been learned. So we had the swamp issue. I thought we were okay. If we thought we needed to pull a permit, believe me, we would have pulled a permit. We know Maureen's office is 25 yards down the road. She could hop, skip, or ride a bike right past it. And see what we were doing at any time. So what we thought we could do and what we did was the man went in with a small backhoe and he went this way with the boom and then he combed it back. And he went this way and he combed it back to allow some flow to hopefully, and it's not a permanent fix, it's all gonna grow back. And so, I was planning on going to talk to Maureen in the spring to say, well, what should we do now? Should we stabilize the banks on the stream? Should we go with complete excavation? Because, you don't see the top of that stream, but 90% of the material is still there. You know, he just opened the channel, and you can see it in the other picture. So if you look right here, this is where he pushed it to. And on the other side, it's already starting to reconnect. And I have, you know, I walk by this stream on my morning walk every single day, rain, snow, or shine, 3 times a day. I mean, sorry, 3 times, 1 time a day. And, you know, I know that that will be growing back by August as soon as the flow slows. The flow is slowed on the town side by the duck pond with the moat there. And that's affected our stream, and, you know, so we've been working for solutions for this, you know, and again, all I can do is deeply apologize to the commission and tell you that if we thought we needed a permit, we would have absolutely done it. So we apologize.
Questions or comments?
Mr. Chair, I have a comment. Dave Lurch here.
Lurch.
Okay, thanks. So here's the problem: is that when we look at applications for development, we're looking at preserving the wetlands, not making it more accommodating to reduce the wetlands so that it's more accommodating for development. And the fact that it's turned into a marsh and now there are mosquitoes and that sort of thing. Okay, well, you know, on one side you say, well, that's a problem for habitability issues. On the other side, maybe that application shouldn't have been approved in the first place. I don't know. I mean, that's, you know, neither here nor there right now. So we need to work with what we have and what kind of restoration that plan that we can come up with so that we can return to the same amount of functionability, I guess, that this wetland had before you went in and started excavating. So it's only my opinion that I believe, from looking at these photographs, and I haven't been down to the site to see it personally, that somehow we're going to have to come up with, or you're going to have to come up with a plan to at least restore that area to its functionability, for lack of a better term, of how that wetland is, you know, should function. And I'm sure that that Maureen's probably already given you some advice on that, but it, you know, it may require that you even hire a third party to come in and do that. I'd like to take a look at it, Maureen, and then, you know, before we do proceed much further with it, though, and certainly for those areas that are exposed with thawing coming, I'm sure that we're going to have to look at some type of bank stabilizing hay mounds or something. I don't know, whatever maybe a soil scientist or someone else might recommend. It is problematic, but thank you for coming before the board and describing what happened. That's all I have to say right now. Thanks.
Yep, thank you.
Maureen, you have any recommendations?
Right now with
Mr. Chairman, I think there should be some kind of remedial plan.
Say that again, Tally.
There should be some remedial plan.
Yes.
Presented by the Condo Association.
I think there's got to be some kind of a solution to this, because I'm well aware of how that water sort of goes stagnant in the summer, and it does smell. The realtor part of me says we need to do something about this to get the water to flow a little bit better. There must be some middle ground here where we can do something about keeping the wetlands intact, but also helping out the residents of that area. to get this water to flow a little bit better and to eliminate the stagnant condition that it does turn into. Is it possible?
Yeah, we're gonna, right now is not the time to evaluate what may grow back where. Certainly I'd like to get out there with the association's permission. I don't want to tramp there without your permission, and see if there's any that needs some kind of any emergency or immediate stabilization in case they're sloughing back off from the bank. From what I saw from taking these pictures, it was spread out very, very evenly. There's no gloms or clumps of stuff. This is the channel, the upper, let me see if I can do this. The upper portion in here has riprap from the development, see it?
Yeah.
Okay, so that was always there. This receives water from the state highway, Route 156, Rope Ferry as well. So there's a couple of things to look at here. Once the snow goes away, would be, this was developed, this stream, what's left of this wetland, if I may play with the map for a second, you guys. This was all filled wetland, okay? Back in the 70s, remember those days, okay? So this channel was actually constructed as part of the condominium development. So back in the summer, when I was speaking with the representatives of the association, I had, how this miscommunication occurred, I said there would certainly be an opportunity to get a maintenance permit for finding that stream channel again, cleaning it out to where it used to be. There may very well be that there's riprap at the bottom of it. Okay. But some got lost in the time that elapsed. Certainly it was part of an approved plan. And so I think certainly the commission could consider giving them permission to perform maintenance to maintain the stream flow and reduce the stagnant conditions. I believe that a lot of this area in here, it's just cattails, so it looks kind of broken down and barren right now, but the vegetation is more than likely still there. That will come back. And I agree, there has to be, it is a nice little ecosystem in there, but it also receives all the sediment and salts from Rope Ferry Road. So what I would like to do, although we can keep this on the action agenda, there's not much to do right now in terms of evaluating the vegetation disturbance, if any. This embankment on this side here, if you can follow my arrow, and I'll go back up to the pictures in here. This is all mowed grass. There was no disturbance here. Okay. Right. So again, the notice of violation was to stop any further work as required under section 14 of our regulations. I've worked with this association on 2 other permit projects on the property to maintain drainage and to maintain their ponds. Certainly it would be of their concern should this area erode. It's going to go back into the ponds they just paid all that money to scour out. Yeah. So I would imagine that we will have pretty good grounds and shared intent here, but we can't do anything until March.
Okay.
And I don't mind working with them. And I agree, if this needs some engineering, I agree with Dave and Tally that they're going to need to hire someone to come up with calculate and evaluate if they need to make a plunge pool in here, in some kind of little forebay that can trap the sediments, and they can get a twice a year permit to clean it out. We're not there yet, in my opinion. Sorry.
So the first thing, if I understand what you're saying, Maureen, we should have some kind of an evaluation to see what's required to reestablish the flow through that area.
Yeah, I would like an opportunity to work with the association as your soil scientist and see what occurred and what may be necessary, and then give them advice before they hire professionals.
So the action then would be simply to leave this on the agenda as an open violation and continue to monitor the situation for required actions.
Right, and allow your staff to work with the association members to conduct a more in-depth evaluation.
Okay, and I don't.
If that's amenable to the association.
Cunningham?
Yes, yes, it is.
Okay, any other comments from the commission?
It's Julie here. I'd like to actually walk out there and see that. Do we have permission to go look at that with Maureen, with staff?
Absolutely.
Thanks.
Okay, I guess we'll just continue to monitor the situation and wait for a report from staff and the association. Any other comments?
Thank you very much.
Well, thank you all
Thank
for your participation. Continuing on the violations, 14B Shore Road. Unauthorized culvert installation and field placement within the wetlands, water courses, notice of violation November 12, 2020. Wetland enhancement plan to be submitted by 31 May 2021 and implemented within 90 days of approval. Questions or comments?
If I may, I had reached out again to Mr. Reagan, the developer, the representative for the owner, and asked him how they're coming. And he said they had hired a wetland scientist who should be coordinating. We should be hearing from him within a couple of weeks.
Okay, so we'll carry this and update as we go for the next meeting.
Correct.
Any other comments or questions? On to item number 6, other business. 21 6th Avenue, determination of permit required.
I don't have that.
So if I may, Mr. Chair, this is a application that came into building and zoning, and I'm tagged on it to review it because there are wetlands on the property. And this is just my overview of it if you had a chance to read it, and then Katrina will go to the map. So it's part of their lawn on the other side of what we call no name. So Katrina, go down to that, just so to get you guys oriented, that's just the zoning compliance permit. This is not wetland, that dark area, that's the flood zone, CVAE, because we're in the Niantic River basin. But the stream is just, go back, sorry. This is just the stream that shows up on the town's GIS, just a little channel. So I provided you some maps to get your orientation here. These are the avenues, 8th through 2nd. This is what we call no name brook. Okay. And then go to the blow up, Katrina, so you can see where it is on their property. So that's the property, 21 6th Avenue, lawn on the side. There's a big, the property line is marked by a big bunch of evergreens. The channel is well marked. We've worked with people along this channel in the past, most recently, I believe, on 4th Avenue. The shed, that's just my box, just to kind of show you where it has to go, because it has to be 10 feet from the property lines. It'll probably be on level the ground with some gravel, but there's really no excavation, no clearing, no fill, and it's going to be a pole constructed shed. It's not in wetlands, it's in the upland review area. So I'm basically asking the commission, do you think this needs to be a regulated activity? In other words, are they required to pay for and apply for a permit to construct a shed in their yard in this location?
What's the relationship to the wetland, Maureen?
There's really no wetlands. It's just a channel. And they're about, I mean, I haven't been there because of the snow, but I was there last year when I met the one of the owners and talked about the restrictions on the yard and things like that. There's no non-encroachment area established along the stream as part of the development of this house. This predated the regulations.
What's the relationship for the location to relative to the stream?
Probably 10 feet closest at the corner to the channel.
And Maureen, that's an intermittent stream, right?
Yeah.
And what was the action we had on that 4th Avenue? Was that a violation? They had cleared it, or they wanted
Correct.
a permit?
Very similar to the one we've just reviewed. Yeah, the flow was black. They went in with a hand rake and cleared out all the leaves and the debris and cut down a lot of dead trees. And we worked with that owner to allow him to do that actually on a yearly basis and to put some plantings back. But he actually was in wetlands. This is upland.
Thank you.
All right, if I may, I have an opinion. This is Dave Lurch. So if it is an intermittent stream and this person's going to be constructing a shed, and under the shed, from what I understand, he's got to have gravel, and plants can grow up through the gravel, right? And I don't know how people usually handle killing plants that grow up through gravel. They don't usually pull them out by hand, but they probably use some type of chemical herbicide. I would like to see some kind of the only way we can write a requirement that this person not use an herbicide is if we require that they have a permit. Is that right?
Correct.
I mean, anybody I guess along there could use a herbicide for whatever they want. They can mow up to it or whatever.
Well, it's mowed now, Dave.
Yeah.
So generally what they do, and the owners here, I mean, if they want to say anything, but generally they just lay down heavy mill geotextile, level it out, and then you put the gravel down.
Right.
It's grass. It's not like they have to clear brush or anything.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's currently under review for flood and zoning. I think it's small enough, it probably doesn't need a structure permit from building. So I guess right now, I wasn't comfortable approving it as of right without the commission's concurrence.
Oh, okay. So you think, so we're looking at this as a use as of right, under what, section 4A, 4B or something? Which one does that fall under? Maureen?
4.1D, I put it in your packet.
Here, well, I didn't see it. Okay, 4.1D.
It's up on the screen there.
No, I can't see it.
Oh,
okay.
I'm sorry. Well, 4.1, section 4.1 is permitted uses as of right within wetlands. This is.
Oh, now I see it. Okay.
And even in a wetland. So I'm tending, but because of the proximity, I didn't want to presume for the commission. But I guess I'm asking for your concurrence that there is no impact. It's as of right. It's part of the yard.
I could go with that.
Yeah, I think it's okay. Yeah, good.
Mm-hmm. Maureen, do you want a motion to that effect?
It would require one, yes.
Okay. Is there a motion?
Dave Lurcher, I move that that this app, is it an application here?
No, it's just a referral. It's a referral from staff.
Okay, the referral from staff on 26th Avenue determination permit that we consider it a use of right under section 4.1D of the town's wetlands regulations.
Thank you, Dave. Is there a second?
I second that, Geneva.
Thank you, Geneva. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstain? Motion carries. Thank you.
Bill.
Yeah.
Next item on the agenda, item number 7, payment of bill.
A bill came in after the agenda was posted for our notice of action for the day of $84.
Motion to pay the bill.
I make a motion to pay the bill to the day.
Charlie, is there a second?
I'll second that. Dave Lurch.
Thank you, Mr. Lurch. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Any abstention? Motion carries. Thank you. Other questions or comments before we adjourn?
This is Jessica. I have a question, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, Jessica.
I was wondering, Maureen, when this is kind of circling back, but it's kind of just a generalized question. If there is an opportunity, whether it's through collaborations with different agencies or departments within the town regarding the pollinator garden project, not just specific to the one we had referred to earlier, but just in general, I believe that there would be community interest in that. So if there's an opportunity to engage the community with that, I'd love to kind of have that as an option.
Yeah, and we are reaching out actually to the president of the Historic Commission.
Oh, okay.
And there's a volunteer who's reached out through the First Selectman's office that's avidly interested in expanding our pollinator garden that we started at the library, Geneva, and myself and the board, and sort of bringing it in, but not just pollinator gardens, but it's really an opportunity to also show how you can have buffers. They're just lovely. They don't, including native plants flowering at different times. So I'm really happy to be working with Rec and Park on that. If you want to be involved, I will certainly keep you in the loop on all the things we're doing. We haven't even begun to pick plants out yet or anything. We just got to get rid of the invasives first. But
okay, and yes, please.
A lovely opportunity to expand that whole idea of naturalized gardens, native pollinators, get the scouts involved, get the high school or the junior high schools involved. People can have benches. I mean, there's so much you could do there, but we're not going to do that without having agreement from the Historic Commission and everyone else who has interest with the green. Good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep. I'm psyched about it. I hope it blossoms soon.
Good. That was it. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Patterson. Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
So moved, Julie.
Second? I don't think we require one.
Tolly, second.
Sally. All right. Thanks very much, folks. Have a good evening.
Have a nice
Good night, everyone. Have a wonderful weekend.
Everyone be safe.
Thank you, everyone. Bye now.
Bye.
Bye.